Order
I
cancelled.
started learning coding when I was 6. I used BASIC on an Apple IIe. Then I started
Order filled.
programming on 386s, 486s, um,
Order cancelled.
and pretty much went from there. I learned
Order
BASIC,
filled.
Pascal, C. I
Order
started doing
cancelled.
JavaScript a little later.
Order cancelled.
Um, I didn't start working on real systems until relatively recently.
Order cancelled. Order cancelled.
Coding is it easy? Good question. Um,
Order filled.
I think it probably is easier for some people than others. Um, One of the things about programming that's really important is discipline and sort of sticking to, you know, routines and things like that. Um, People who aren't organized or have a tough time with like organization and rules will struggle with programming. There's usually a right way to do things. It's not always, but you know, people who like to learn by experience will sometimes get into programming and have some difficulty working with others and things like that. It is kind of a team sport. Um,
Order filled.
so there's a big
Order
difference between
cancelled.
being a hobbyist and then being a
Order filled.
professional. I was a hobbyist for a long time, and I really the world of professional programming was very dark to me. I didn't understand it
Order
at all,
cancelled.
and after a while, I realized, it's a very different world.
Order cancelled. Order cancelled.
I think that's
Order
right.
cancelled.
Programming is essentially problem solving with a different vocabulary. Um, yeah, understanding the complexity of the data you're working with and the
Order
processing
filled.
speed that your algorithm may be, exposed to is very important. Typically doesn't matter that much for hobbyists. It matters a lot for um, professionals. There's a lot of race
Order
conditions and
cancelled.
things that happen
Order
with
filled.
professional programmers that, organizing data in uh, the best manner is sometimes rather difficult.
Order cancelled.
There's a one fun thing that a lot of like you learn very immediately, for example, is how expensive relative operations are in programming. So a print statement will
Order
often,
cancelled.
we're storing something on disk. These are really expensive operations. If you
Order
write a for
filled.
loop and you store all the stuff either printing it to the screen or storing it on disk, you end up getting this really, really long running program that you didn't intend. And just doing the order of operations slightly differently will lead you to literally a million x speed up on a program. A million x speed up. Um, so, in any
Order
event,
cancelled.
oh,
Order cancelled. Order cancelled.
yes, Stefan, lots of things. Lots of things. I mean, I'm not that great at some of these things. Keep that in mind.
Order
We
cancelled.
got some network theory. That's what they called it when I was a kid.
Order cancelled.
This is weird how they break this out.
Order cancelled. Order cancelled.
Yeah, there's order of operations in mathematically, and then there's order of operations, kind of program wise. I was more talking about programmatically. But yeah, the associative and left to right precedence is kind of what it's called in programming, is very important in programming and can cause a lot of pernicious bugs if you don't know how the language treats certain
Order
precedents.
cancelled.
This takes precedence over that. It can get very ugly. "15 days in a row of FTSE up. Wow. I just think market conditions are good. That's a big reason why everything's up. GC is a big deal, yeah. Well, these days that GC starts to, become,
Order cancelled.
less important.
Order filled.
I'm sure there's some programmers that hate for me to say that. Amjad is a great friend of ours and was one of the first Shkreli stream watchers, believe it or not. So he's the CEO of Replit, the founder of Replit, great friend, amazing guy. Amjad says you don't have to program. He's a much better programmer than I'll ever be, even in my dreams.
Order cancelled.
In fact, most of the guys that work in there, including one of the guys who invented React, he's got a great team. Now, I'm gonna keep it 100. No, I think that
Order cancelled.
I'm not saying he's wrong, but I think kind of what he calls programming is probably a little bit different from what I do. He's probably telling you that you could get away with vibe coding or something like that. And I'm telling you that vibe coding is programming, at least in its current form. He probably is looking forward to the future and saying, well, in the future, you can use Replit and other tools like Replit. I'm just a very honest guy. He's not going to, he's really one of the best people I know. He will not tell you, lead you down the wrong road. And he's usually right about what he says. He's extremely smart. One of the smartest people I know.
Order filled.
So definitely follow him on Twitter. Amjad Masad. He's from Jordan. And look, in essence, he's probably telling you, more provocatively, that you can probably do everything you need with something like a Replit
Order cancelled.
or another system like that. And from here on out, or even as few as a year or two from now, there's just really no need to learn programming. That's certainly not the case at the moment.
Order filled.
And then there's also, this idea that somebody needs to program advanced systems.
Order cancelled.
So if you're programming hardware or you're programming the latest AI, this stuff has never been done before. Now, maybe AI can come up with and generalize new things. It's possible. We're going to see if that's possible soon. But I also doubt that the advanced programmer's job will ever truly disappear.
Order cancelled.
One of the things that current AI is not very good at is context window. And the thing about large code bases is they're usually very large. And the hard thing about hard things, it's kind of hard to work with, multi-million line code base. And you may not even know what some other code at the rest of your company does. And you might need to know in some cases, you might not need to know in other cases. And there's,
Order cancelled.
it's going to be a little bit tricky to ever get that context into these machines. Even something like a million token context window misses a lot of things, and a million tokens is not a million lines. So, really indispensable for programming. I don't know a single programmer that doesn't use AI, but I think that, yes, what Swift's saying is right. If you're really talking about advanced level programming, it's going to be a little bit tricky.
Order filled.
Yeah, it's not dumb at all. I think Python is very, very, very easy to learn.
Order cancelled.
You can get up and running in Python in one day, and I recommend Replit in terms of how to get started, because the nice thing about Replit is you basically can get started right away. Whereas if you're not a computer whiz and you don't want to set up environments and do all this and that, You got to set up an IDE, you got to set up paths, you got to set up all this stuff. And yes, technically you should do it that way
Order cancelled.
and not use something like Replit. But the nice thing about Replit is you get into programming, it's fun, it's quick, and there's something nice about that for learning.
Order cancelled.
The number one thing you want to do when somebody's learning
Order
something
filled.
is to not discourage them.
Order cancelled.
I spent a lot of time as a teacher, as you guys know, on YouTube and elsewhere, prison. And the number one thing you want to do is avoid things that get people bogged down and discouraged and saying,
Order filled.
the second I'm out of this classroom, I'm going to forget about this forever. I don't want to do this. People say that, and they do that, and that is what
Order
you don't
cancelled.
want as a teacher.
Order
And
filled.
I don't want you to quit programming because you are futzing around with installing Python 3.11 on your machine, and you mess up a step or something, and it doesn't show up, or pip doesn't work,
Order
or
cancelled.
these things happen, and send you spiraling. Amjad gives you a
Order
box.
filled.
It's probably some virtualized box underneath it, but he gives you a box to work on for free, and that's kind of everything's pre-installed, everything runs.
Order cancelled.
You don't have to mess around with any
Order filled.
complicated
Order
things.
cancelled.
So anyway, that's kind of the way I look at that.
Order cancelled.
Whole prison making money moves. Okay.
Order cancelled.
We are short. We did short more IQ, which we're currently trying to take a big position.
Order filled.
Haven't seen the Palantir vibe coding. I don't know if the market's going to dump at any given moment. My guess is as good as yours in that. Always.
Order filled. Order cancelled.
Long, wait till I get my money right.
Order cancelled.
Can't tell me nothing right.
Order filled.
It's kind of a music day, isn't it? I shorted a little IonQ and Rigetti in a separate account.
Order cancelled.
Other than that, I haven't done anything in the main portfolio. I think I'm perfectly aligned, just looking for some new stocks to play around with. It's never too late to learn programming. I mean, it's a wildly useful
Order filled.
skill because you have a you learn problem solving. You get to practice problem solving, which is really important in other areas. Thinking like a programmer can help you solve lots of problems in life. Yeah, wifey is asking me if why Bagajandro is in why it's a good day for Bagajandro. Even my whole family knows who Bagajandro is. God damn you! Urgh.
Order cancelled.
Now we got celebrity bag holders? I mean, Springer is a celebrity bag holder. I made the whole background of my computer Joe Springer. I'll get you, Alejandro. I'll get you.